friends, Animals My Love would like to express gratitude to all of you for supporting and following our channel, and a special thanks to all of you who have sent stories. Today we would like to share another story from one of our fans. 4 years ago, I lost my beloved wife in an accident. I often wonder how she's feeling in her heavenly realm. Is she sad to see her husband struggling to keep up with the role of mom and dad? That is how I see it at the moment. I feel I have failed to provide for the physical and emotional needs of my child and failed at being a dad and mom. There was one particular day when I had an emergency at work, so I had to leave home whilst my son was sleeping. Thinking to myself that there was still rice leftovers, I hastily cooked an egg and left it for my son. With these double roles, I am often in a state of exhaustion, both at home and at work. After one of those long days, I came home totally drained of all energy. I just briefly hugged and kissed my son and went straight to my room, skipping dinner. However, when I got into my bed, all I heard and felt was broken porcelain and warm liquid. I pulled away the blanket, and guess what I saw? A broken bowl with instant noodles and a huge mess on the sheet and blanket. Boy, was I mad. I was so furious that I took a clothes hanger, charged straight to my son, who was happily playing with his toys, and gave him a spanking. And he cried while explaining his story to me. Dad, I was hungry, and there wasn't any leftover rice. But you were gone, and I wanted to cook some instant noodles. But because you told me not to use the gas stove, I used the hot water from the bathroom to cook the noodles. I made one bowl for you and one for me, but I was afraid that your noodles would go cold, so I placed it under the blanket to keep it warm for you. But I forgot to remind you because I was playing with my toys. I'm so sorry, Dad. Tears were streaming down my face, but I didn't want my son to see his dad crying, so I dashed into the bathroom and cried with the tap running to hide the sound of my sobbing. Then I coaxed my son into his room, gave him a warm hug and medicine and tucked him in. Then it was time for me to clear up the mess in my own bed. By the time all was done, it was past midnight. As I passed my son's room, I saw he was still crying, not from the pain of the spanking, but from looking at the picture of his mommy. A year has passed since that episode. I have tried to focus on giving him the love of both his mom and dad, and to attend to most of his needs. One of these days he will be turning 7 and graduating from kindergarten. Fortunately, that incident with the noodles did not leave a lasting impression on him, and he seems happy enough. However, to my regret, I gave my son another spanking. This time his kindergarten teacher called to inform me that my son was not at school. I left work early and rushed home, expecting for him to be there, but he wasn't. I walked around the neighborhood calling him loudly. Eventually, I found him at a stationery shop, happily playing computer games. I was fuming. I brought him home and gave him a hell of a hiding. He did not retaliate except to say, "I'm sorry, Dad." But after much probing, I realized that there was a talent show organized by his school. The invitation was for the mothers of the students, and he must have felt ashamed because he did not have a mommy. And that was why he did not attend. Few days ago, my son came to show me that he was starting to read and write at kindergarten. He has been very eager to practice his skills. My wife would be so proud of him if she was still around. I know I am. Time passes by very quickly, and yet another year has passed. It's winter, and it's Christmas time. The Christmas spirit is in every passerby, with Christmas carols and frantic shoppers. Unfortunately, my son got into some more trouble. I received an angry call from the postmaster, saying that my son attempted to post several letters with no receiving address. Even though I promised myself never to hit him again, I couldn't help it, and gave him another hiding. As before, he apologized with no additional explanations. So off I went to the post office to collect these prank letters. When I returned home, he was in tears and explained that the letters were for Mommy. "But why did you post so many letters at one time?" And he replied, "I've been writing to Mommy for a long time, but each time I reached out for the post box, it was too high for me, so I was unable to post the letters. But this time I could reach it, and I sent all of them at once." After hearing this, I was at a loss for words. Eventually, I told my son, "Son, Mommy is in the heavenly kingdom, so in the future, if you have anything to tell her, just burn the letter and it will reach her." After hearing this, he had a calmness about him and slept soundly that night. I promised to burn the letters on his behalf, but I couldn't help opening just one of them first, and it broke my heart. "Dear Mommy, I miss you so much. Today there was a talent show at school. All the mothers were invited, but without you around, I didn't want to go. I didn't tell Dad because I didn't want to make him sad about you all over again. So he went looking for me, and I was playing computer games at the shop. Dad was so furious he scolded and hit me. Mommy, every day I see Dad missing you and I hear him crying in his room. We both miss you very, very much. But Mommy, I'm starting to forget your face. Can you please appear in my dreams so that I can see your face and remember you? I heard that if I fall asleep with a picture of a person you are missing, they will appear in your dreams. But Mommy, why haven't you appeared?" After reading this, I couldn't stop sobbing because I know I can never fill the gap left by my wife. This story might be a wake-up call to parents. Please think before acting. There might be a reason for your child's strange behavior. This boy suffered a terrible loss and needed some more empathy from his dad, but received the opposite. Finally, the letter his son wrote opened his eyes and his heart. Please listen to the needs of your children, even if you are going through difficult times yourself. We would like to thank our fan for sharing this story with Animals My Love. If anyone has any stories like this, please email them to animalsmylove999@gmail.com. Bye bye and see you soon.